You had a fantastic weekend.
Yes, and we have a really fun show for you guys. Today we're going to be talking about how much should live streaming services really cost?
Yeah, we got that question a few times, and special thanks to Kyle Gunnerman for being the latest one to bring this topic up. So we thought, why not just make a show out of it and cover this in detail?
So all this and more is going to be coming up next. All right, everybody, we have a really fun show for you today where we're going to be talking all about the cost of live streaming and the things to consider. Now, we have two different types of audiences, and we're going to be talking to both of you. Those of you who provide live streaming services, and those of you looking for live streaming services and companies to work with for your next event. So how much should live streaming cost? I don't know, Tess. You tell me.
That's a great question, Paul, and hopefully we'll be able to answer that question for you today. We reached out to quite a few audience members, many of which are experienced event streamers, to get this information. All right, so we have 10 questions. Sorry about that. We just cut over a little bit. We have 10 questions that we are going to offer you guys to grab after the show in a document to consider before hiring somebody to live stream your event. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, 10 questions to consider, things that, you might not know as someone hiring and starting an event, what you should definitely be asking your video production company you're working with. Now, what we've seen are two incredibly different types of live streaming start to emerge. There's the multi-camera television style event setup for event streaming. And then there's this new in real life streaming. And we think that both serve their place. We have customers that are using both technologies, some that work better for other scenarios. So we're going to talk about this new emerging IRL streaming, where it works, and where multi-camera event streaming works as well.
We are also going to be talking about the power of an IRL stream like we've done in the past, and which we're about to do as well at the next trade show we're heading to, and how you can implement that in your streaming services.
Also, we want to talk a little bit about selling virtual tickets. When you're talking about hiring a video production company, how much should it cost? What do they offer you? Have you thought about selling virtual tickets? Generally, if you're going to hire a company to live stream your event, you've got something special. Maybe it's a sold out event and you want thousands more people to be able to reach via social media. Selling virtual tickets is something that you should really consider. We're going to talk about profit sharing and potentially even maybe subsidizing the cost of a video production company by just simply selling virtual tickets.
Also, don't forget that we do have our Streaming Certified Studios program. So if you want to join our Certified Studios program, head to streamgeeks.us/certify. Is that right? Yes, /certify. I wanted to bring up the idea, Paul, about doing people that own our cameras that doing streaming as a service. Maybe we could open that up to them as well for the streaming studios. What do you think?
Yes, exactly.
So now you are going to be able to sign up as an event streamer for this.
Yes. So that was a nice little announcement. I think that wraps it up, except for the fact that if you do have a live streaming studio, this is something to consider as well. If you have a big product announcement or event, but you maybe don't have a space to do it, a lot of our partners in the StreamGeeks Certified Studio program have studios all around the country, all over the world, that you can go to locally to have a live stream done professionally. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. All this and more
coming up after this
there's
next
one more
slide. And what is the slide? Don't forget, WFX is just a week and a half away about now, and we are hosting our biggest giveaway ever, announced at that event. So if you want to sign up for the giveaway, there's still time at PTZOptics.com/church-makeover. Now we can get started. Thank you guys so much for bearing with us through that.
Okay, so we have a quick little video that talks about the considerations and the power of live streaming for your next event. So let's cut to that and we'll see you guys in a minute.
Are you interested in live streaming a special event, product announcement, or community outreach project? Live streaming is so powerful because it holds the power to connect people all around the world with your next big idea. Engaging live video content is the modern bridge between online community on social media and your business. Here at StreamGeeks, we are constantly looking for ways to increase audience engagement, social media reach, and ultimately real business outcomes. But how much should live streaming an event cost if you don't have any equipment or expertise? Luckily, you can always whip out your phone, which is hopefully connected to a reliable Wi-Fi network, and start an off-the-cuff live stream. But for many larger events with more important goals, your business needs to think bigger in order to reap the benefits. When it comes to live streaming, it's important to understand the power of a live audience and their ability to share your content with their network. Everyone in the world is connected within 6 degrees of separation, and your message can quickly spread online with the right mix of quality presentation and live audience engagement. The first thing to think about is the presentation style for the event. Do you want to provide an exclusive behind-the-scenes look for viewers online, or an all-business television style presentation? Generally, you can pay a video production company to set up a multi-camera television style presentation for roughly $100 to $250 per hour, which will include costs for setup and breakdown for all the equipment. In today's day and age, you can also hire video production companies to stream a professional mobile production, allowing your coverage to span miles throughout your city, museum, or party. Some events like Vid Summit, which is a YouTuber conference in Los Angeles, California, uses a mix of both. They monetize their live streaming capabilities by selling virtual tickets. These tickets include access to the event's on-demand videos for viewers to watch up to 1 year later. The conference uses IRL, in real-life streaming wireless backpacks, to allow hosts to generate hype for the event on social media. The paying customers with virtual tickets then gain access to professional multi-camera video production streams hosted in the main ballrooms and educational conference areas. As you can see, there are many ways to use live streaming to amplify your business goals. Whether you are simply trying to gain more attention, leveraging social media, or driving increased ticket sales with a private content delivery network, the opportunities are limitless. If you are a video production company that offers live streaming services, contact the StreamGeeks about joining our referral network. If you are a business trying to prepare for an upcoming event, consider downloading our free guide titled 10 Questions to Ask Before Hiring a Live Streaming Company, found at streamgeeks.us/10.
Okay, so let's dig into it. Wanted to get you guys pumped up a little bit about the power of live streaming. Really has the power to connect your big idea, your next event, with thousands of people online. So here we go. How much should live streaming services cost? Let's turn on that Telestrator when you get a chance, and we're going to jump right into this presentation. So we're going to talk about how much should live streaming services cost, what types of live streaming is available for those of you trying to kind of consider what's possible, a little bit of prep work and client expectations, how to sell virtual tickets, 10 types of live streaming services. You know, one of the nice things about all of this is that live streaming is a gateway into other services for video production companies, the buyer journey, some common customers, and some complementary businesses that are really having a lot of fun in this space. So the usual cost breakdown, Tess.
Absolutely. Hourly costs generally range, as we know, between maybe $100 and $250 an hour, depending on maybe the type of stream that you are distributing. Of course, setup and breakdown is going to be taken into consideration to that pricing. It can also vary by the amount of cameras and equipment that's necessary at the event, as well as minimum hourly requirements, something like 2 or 3 hours. And by the way, if any of you gave any of this information to us, our audience members, thank you very much, because we don't technically do event streaming, you know, for pricing. So it was important that we would reach out to our audience to get this information, so you could trust that this info is coming from experienced streamers.
Yes, and this is a live stream, so comment below if you have similar pricing, similar experiences. Let us know. We'll show your comments live. You know, it depends on where you are as well. Are you in New York City or are you in Akron, Ohio? Both places actually have large. Oh, Mike, people like your narration. Thank you. So it depends on where you're from. Like I said, New York City obviously has like millions and millions of people. Akron, Ohio might only have 250,000, but there's still a need in both spaces, small towns, big towns, all across the country for live streaming events. But yes, like Tess said, don't forget about setup and breakdown, and also travel. We should have included there as well. So, next is there's this merging technology of IRL streaming. And so we've done quite a lot of this.
Yeah, lately we've been doing a lot of IRL streaming, and it's been an interesting experience. A little switch off between, maybe a little less quality in production, but certainly high efficiency and maybe a cost savings involved there.
Yes, so we'll talk about how you can save some money potentially by doing IRL streaming, but there's definitely some trade-offs. You can't really have that television style multi-camera video production with an IRL stream, but an IRL stream, just let me define it for you guys. It's basically when you have a backpack with a mobile cellular bonding system and you have a camera on your shoulder or on your hand, and you literally stream everything you see. It's much more reliable than simply trying to live stream with your phone, that we know is all impossible to do.
Yes.
But using a LiveView Solo, check out our videos on it on our YouTube channel. You can do a very high quality stream to multiple content delivery networks just with a camera, an action camera on your shoulder. The issue is you can't do the multi-camera switching and streaming in that type of style the way you can with event streaming. So
It's much more like a view from somebody's eyes, I like to look at it as.
And it's really ideal for certain things. So it's totally mobile, no setup, no breakdown. Using a cloud server, you can have some overlays, and you can have you can stream to multiple destinations. So it makes it really ideal for a couple of things we've done.
I like how you put this, a sprawling event, for example, like a parade. We've done a Halloween parade recently, as well as a Halloween ball. That's another kind of sprawling event where the attention might need to be in lots of different places and not just, a set destination like a stage or what have you.
I think it really does open up new opportunities for where live streaming can fit. For example, we live streamed a Halloween gala. It was a ball, it was an auction, it was kind of an exclusive giveaway, and the Historical Society said, hey, can you live stream it? Well, that was a party that was happening in multiple rooms, multiple spaces, and it wasn't really like a concert or a space where there's just a central location. So they just wanted people to see what it's like to be part of the party, to kind of and give the viewers the experience that they're walking through a museum. So it worked really well there. There's another one that we were contacted about, a restaurant festival where there's lots of different restaurants all over. That's difficult to do a kind of like permanent multi-camera system, but if you're completely mobile and you can walk around, it's great. Also trade shows we've been doing a lot of, and those are really great as well.
That's great for us to be able to share experiences with our audience members that are interested. You know what will be interesting too? A mix of both. Did you put that in there?
Yes. Well, I was gonna get to that. That we have a customer, Vid Summit, and I'd love to explain the mix of both. And it was kind of in Michael's voiceover and narrative. They used IRL streaming to social media, Facebook and YouTube, to generate hype. So they would be doing behind the scenes, getting people interested, seeing the networking portion of it all. But the paid virtual tickets were like actually this picture right here, where you can see there's like a multi-camera video production setup, and people are actually paying for that high quality television experience. So event streaming, now again, IRL streaming, I think the pricing can be similar. $150 an hour generally, but there's no setup and breakdown, so it's definitely a savings for the customer, and it's easier for everybody involved.
We already have some questions if you
great.
Let's want to cover
let's
of
hit
these.
some questions.
Nick Bacon is asking, do most people generally charge hourly, one day or a half day rate?
I think, and we're going to have some examples in our presentation of real companies and what they actually charge. So that is coming. But I think generally you have to put at least some requirement, whether it's 2 to 3 hour minimum, just to make sure, it's acceptable, because clearly you need to set up. Clearly there's breakdown, and you don't want to do that all just for a single hour. Although, hey, there are hour-long telethons. There are hour-long concerts, right? So as long as you're putting a minimum of like probably 3 to 4 hours for the whole thing, you should be covered. So yeah, half day.
Great questions coming from Chad, and I think that we will cover some of this stuff in the presentation as well. So just hang tight with us, and we will definitely cover all these.
Yes, we'll cover all of these. But I think a lot of it's going to go right through our presentation. I don't want to stick completely with the presentation, but these event streamings, obviously ideal for sports, ideal for conferences, corporate events, government meetings. It's really interesting, actually. A lot of states, Florida included, Massachusetts included, are requiring all government meetings be live streamed.
So there's no shady business going on.
Everyone wants to know what's going on. Now, interesting thing there is that if it's a company that knows they need to live stream every meeting every week, they might not want to actually hire someone to do that. They might actually want to have permanently installed systems for live streaming. And we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So here's an idea of some types of the customers. So small businesses are a booming market. There's just so many of them, although they might not be able to pay as much as some of the higher end stuff, but we're going to kind of walk through this. Small event spaces, community events, and regional sporting events. Those are kind of on the lower budget, but probably more of them than some of the things on the higher end here. And then we get to, and David Pelt, we were talking to about this, who does a lot of these in these medium market areas, live seminars, symposias, town halls, and large public or private gatherings. And then finally, as you're getting up to the higher end stuff, these national and international sports and major brand releases and world events. So let's talk a little bit about the prep work. So if you are looking for someone's service, this is something that you should probably be thinking about talking to your company you're working with, or if you are a video production company, here's some of the things to be talking about. One is defining your role. What are the responsibilities? Do they want to see behind the scenes footage? Or are they okay with 2 cameras? Just trying to get on the table what is going to be expected. You can evaluate the needs from an integration standpoint, graphics, elements. Do they want manned cameras, unmanned cameras, PTZ cameras? There's differences there and what they can expect.
And access is a big one. Access to power, access to internet, access via firewalls or ports that need to be unlocked as well.
So there's quite a bit there. And then I wanted to briefly talk about virtual tickets because VidSummit, one of the companies that we work with that does the IRL streaming, they do like 5 different permanent streams as well. They also sell a lot of virtual tickets and they make hundreds of thousands of dollars doing so. So I think that this is going to be one of the biggest areas where people are going to see, wow, we're making a lot of money with these virtual tickets. Let's hire more people. Let's increase the production value. Next year, let's get these people to come back even more. And one of the things people don't realize a lot is not only there's so many ways to sell a virtual ticket. You can gate access to a Facebook group. So you could have people have an exclusive group where you're just live streaming to. A private page.
Or maybe you hire a private CDN to give you an embed code, a ticket sale platform, and
you could include extra special features with the virtual ticket. For example, VidSummit allows you to also get access to 1 year worth of on-demand private premium video. So there's quite a lot there. And what's this saying here?
Nick's saying that we normally present YouTube and Facebook as a cost-saving option since we don't have to pay for extra bandwidth for those platforms.
Yes, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. And a lot of conversations developing in the chat as well about just based upon the area in which you live or which the event is can affect the going rates for streaming services. If you're in the heart of LA, it might be much more expensive because of the area and because the person providing the services, cost of living is higher, so the services might be more expensive then. So that's definitely something to consider when looking into getting streaming as a service. The prices can certainly vary. There's no set rate that's kind of the standard for United States, at least.
Yes, definitely. It's definitely going to, that's why we did ranges. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about additional services. So of course we're talking about on-site streaming and setup, but what about training? Is there someone on the team that you could actually get paid for training and consulting? Also, can you offer studio time? Do they want to come into your studio? A lot of people ask us about that. We kind of keep our studio lock and key a little bit, but we're interesting to kind of think about that and maybe build a case study with some high-end customers on studio time. Also, are customers using your studio so much that maybe they want you to build their own studio? There's a whole business in building studios and charging for your design and installation.
Absolutely.
You keep going, Tess, on
Yeah,
this?
if your client needs graphics to be made for the streaming event or any kind of visual effects, that would be certainly an extra charge if you were to design some branding and marketing material for the stream.
Then just a couple others here, workflow management, SEO.
Hmm.
Some people will actually send a PTZ camera to their client and remotely manage it. So, you're in New York and they're in Hawaii. Our friend Tom Sinclair does custom computer builds. So that's something. Training, again, on software and hardware. And then post-production and social media management. So just some thoughts there. And this is the journey that we see most people take. So they're asking, all right, what's in the workflow? What they're looking for a little consulting. How do we design? How do we brand? How is this going to influence our social media and our management? And we found out recently, last week we had this big social media marketer manager gathering, and we found that the typical customer might not be the IT or AV guy anymore. It might actually be the social media manager. Then they might be talking about, okay, well, we're not ready to build a studio yet. Can we come into your studio, or can you come on site with us? And then can you remotely manage it, or should we build our own studio? And then finally, wow, this is so valuable. It's so great. We're going to have someone in-house to manage it. And can you train us? So those are just some of the directions that it can take. And I think we got to wrap it up there, but I'm going to go really quickly through this. Just some common customers here. Ways to get started. Sorry, we're just running behind. Skills to think about.
This is a big topic. So what I think we need to do is offer this presentation up.
Yes.
Open to the public and everybody in the chat to dive into. And maybe if you want to give it as a reference to your clients, or if you're looking to purchase a streaming service from someone, keep this in your back pocket so you know what to expect. How can they get this document?
They're going to have to email me at paul.richards@ptzoptics.com.
I'll post it to our Facebook page after this.
To our Facebook page as well, so you guys can get it. And finally, that's it. We're going to head to our podcasting area, but I think it's a good time to do that because it's a great chance for us to really relax, take the gloves off, and chat with you guys in a way where we can really take questions.
And we'll keep YouTube up today so we can answer questions and hang out more. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this, and we'll see you in the post show.
See you in the post show.